so be fast is your mnemonic to save your coworkers or yourself, perhaps. Okay, then look one above. Do you see how it says spinal cord injury? Okay, spinal cord injury or SCI, neurogenic shock, Glasgow scale. What is the rhyme?
Less than 8, intubate.
Less than 8, intubate. Now, every time you look at Grey's Anatomy, they're giving you a Glasgow score. So that's why I'm like, look, you better know that Glasgow score for that damn test. Quit playing. Okay? Now, the one thing that is so important, and we're going to touch base on it tomorrow, is the adult vital signs at the top. Many of you learned normals and you learned abnormals, but you didn't learn when to freak out. We give you the when to freak out. So everybody raise your hand if you learned that 140/90 is high blood pressure. Raise your hand. But you probably might know that you can't be calling no doctor with that bullshit, because so what? That's what's going to come back over the phone to you. Okay, and what you want me to do about it? So we know that we learned that 140/90 was abnormal. We all learned that. But I'll be damned if you think you should call a doctor about something like that. You should not. And you will be laughed out of here if you do. So what did I give my babies? I gave you when to call the doctor. So what's the blood pressure that gets us into major trouble and is right up there with stroke level? What is it, y'all?
120/120.
Ain't that cruel? So now you know. You know that 140/90 is high, but you also know that's not a time to call nobody's doctor. You know that if anybody bring their ass up in your house with a 180/120, and here's the deal, everyone, you only need one of those numbers, not both. You only need one of those numbers, not both. And that patient can easily stroke out. Does that help? Okay. Now, by the same token, you got to know when it's so low, you should call them, right? Yeah. And so you will see on here for adult vital sign extremes, less than 90/50. Y'all good with that? That's when you should get a little worked up into a sweat. Okay. Now, then you see the pulse. And let me just say this about this pulse, and maybe you're a little behind. Need to write it down or highlight it or do something, y'all. Put a little gum on top of it. I don't know. But the pulse greater than 110, this is what I tell you to write down. They are bleeding until you prove they're not. Any pulse 110 and higher is literally bleeding until you prove that they're not. Because the number one sign of hemorrhage is tachycardia. And 110 is pretty serious. You are never going to ignore a 110. You are never going to be comfortable letting that person sit in a waiting room with 110. You are never leaving their room until you do more assessment with a 110, including feeling the apical to see if it's even regular. It's pretty bad to have a 110 for a pulse. It's really, really bad. Okay. All right. So that's called the doctor kind of material. And then what is the other pulse, y'all?
Less than 48.
The opposite end is less than 48. So get this. At the Cleveland Clinic, Monday, I went to my shared governance meeting, and we had a presenter there. Shout out to Dial. You're the shit, girl. She was presenting as an AMED nurse on all the reasons to call for an AMED. And some of you guys who took my class know I told you about that patient that came all up in my house with a heart rate in the 30s. She remembered that patient. So what we're saying to you is, they tried to tell me, well, yeah, her heart rate is in the 30s, but she's asymptomatic. I'm sorry. That explanation is perfect for a heart rate in the 50s. I might even let you get that off in the 45s and up. But once she dropped below 40s, fuck a symptom. I don't need none. That is the symptom. To be walking all up in my house with a heart rate in the 30s is good enough for me. So don't get so caught up on your definitions of bradycardia that they absolutely have to have symptoms. Because don't you think 30s is a symptom? What you gonna tell me, that 2 is all right with them no symptoms? How low we going on this motherfucker? Okay, your heart rate 10, but you asymptomatic. Let her go home. Fuck that. 30s is pretty damn low. Are you working with me? Okay, so go with your gut. Go with your common sense. These people were in a textbook somewhere, and they were much higher up than me. And you know what I told them all in a very cracky voice, because I was ready to fight about it? She ain't staying here. Y'all better take her ass somewhere. She ain't staying on my outpatient unit. Not my watch. Y'all better get her out of here. I don't care where you take her. Take her to your house. She got to leave this unit because she has a heart rate in the 30s. Now, don't you dare forget what happened to that lady. Her potassium was 2.9. She was in complete heart block by the time they stopped fucking around and took her to the ER. She coded the next day. Not on my watch. So sometimes you might just have to get ignorant and Project Chicky right in front of your little bosses and everything. Because they was all out there looking at me like I was crazy. And then I got respect on that damn name. And I was new to the unit, so they didn't know me from Adam and Eve's house cat. They had no idea how fucking cold I am at this shit. None. But they learned that day. Now they be like, Shelly said, call her amen. Y'all better call. Shelly said, all up and around them damn hallways. Shelly said. Okay? All right, so that's that, y'all. Y'all just got to do it. When you feel it, you got to do it. Okay? Now, in that same section, here's what you don't give a shit about. You don't give a shit about no respirations. You really don't. I know that sounds real crazy because y'all learned that airway shit. You don't give a fuck about nobody's respirations. That is not the criteria. I'll say it again. That is not the criteria to decide who to see first. It's not. You need more evidence. What kind of evidence, Shelly? Well, if they gave you respers, you're not done yet. You need to know the pulse ox. That's the evidence. And if that pulse ox is less than 90, you can run to the bank with it. But just the respers, nope, not strong enough evidence to make me see them first. It's just not. I get people all the time breathing crazy. It's called COPD and CHF. All the time. Okay? Now, the other thing that I'm not too worried about, but it's noteworthy in terms of I better see what else is going on with the patient, is that temperature. In and of itself, it's not going to make me do anything different, but write this down. If it's a psych patient with a fever, see them first. If it's a psych patient with a fever, see them first. And let me tell you what it is, and take your highlighter, come with me, travel with your girl, go down to the bottom of the page, look for the third one from the bottom, neuroleptic malignant syndrome. That's what the fuck it is. Psych patient with a fever, neuroleptic malignant syndrome, psych patient with a fever. Y'all all right? Okay, so you see, you got a lot of shit on this page that's really important. And as you navigate through this course, you will pick up on every last one of them. What you have to do when you're done at night and you're ready to lay it down, you have to check page 7 with, did I learn any of these today? Maybe, did I see? I think I saw a video on that. Shit, fuck that. Check it off. You saw that video. You took those notes. You did those questions. Check it off. Get this shit colored up. Okay? But don't color it till you know it. All right? Then you see on page 8.